Brian, where are the best locations to do remote wholesaling? You're watching a segment from a Freedom Mentor live stream. Join us for our next live event. Go to freedommentor.com/live.
Well, I'd first ask, why are you doing remote wholesaling? I think it's always best you learn in your own backyard. Unless you've been doing wholesaling for a very long time and you're growing into other markets, in other words, you've learned in your own backyard all the do's and don'ts and ins and outs. Learn in your backyard where you can meet people, where you can build a local team, where you just get your arms around the problems. I actually made that mistake closer to 20 years ago, trying to wholesale in multiple markets. And what I found is I'm just so spread out. I can't master these markets. I'm not building effective teams. I'm just kind of spinning my wheels in multiple markets. So I would highly advise that you always start out in your own backyard. Now, maybe you're in a rural area. I find that most of the time when people want to look outside of their area, it's because they feel like there's too much competition. And I would argue, no, that's a wonderful thing to have a lot of activity in your market. It's learning where in that market is the sweet spot, where to focus your efforts so that you can be most effective. So I would say, first and foremost, start in your backyard. Let us show you where to focus. And then if you want to duplicate those efforts elsewhere, you can. I was actually talking to an apprentice this morning about wholesaling something and knowing your product. And I think that's one thing that many wholesalers are very lackadaisical and just at fault, and they don't know their product. They think this is just flipping paper. And, a perfect example, this apprentice has a deal she was able to sell for $5,000 more because she understood. She at first thought there was a plumbing problem, actually got her plumber out to take a look at it, realized there wasn't a problem. The offer she had from another investor that wanted to buy it and rehab it went up $5,000 because she knew her product. She knew the right questions to ask. She knew who to contact to get that resolved. And as a result, she made an extra $5,000 on the deal that a wholesaler that doesn't know the property would have totally missed out on. In fact, he probably would have lost a lot more because, the buyer comes along and says, oh yeah, it's got this problem, that problem, and who knows what else. When you don't know the product, you're at a big disadvantage. And I think that's one of the things remote wholesaling kind of lends towards, unless you're building a local team. So we'll just kind of leave it there for now.
Yeah, remote wholesaling for almost everyone is incredibly difficult. And I think more now than ever, because there's a trust recession. Sellers do not trust you. There's a lack of trust throughout every business right now. And sometimes the only way to get a deal done is to go meet that seller in person, is to go to that property, go look over the property, get to know that seller. Let's sit down at their kitchen table, chat with them. What makes real estate investing so productive is the personal aspect of it. If you're just hiding behind a computer screen and you're not getting out and looking at properties, meeting with sellers, you're never going to make as much money. You're just not. And so remote wholesaling takes away one of the greatest strengths you have, and that is being in person with the seller. Now, that's not the only reasons, though, Devin, because obviously there's the aspect of just building a local team and almost like a snowball effect. So talk a little bit about what happens when you start to really build the different relationships within the community. Be sure to get your free copy of my best-selling book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor, and that comes with the audiobook version as well. Click the top corner.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch upon what you said there are so many deals I've been able to get done because the sellers, I meet with them, I set the right expectations, and they know I'm going to get the deal done, and they trust that I'm going to get the deal done. With remote wholesaling, it sounds sexy, and a lot of people talk about it, but the truth is it's very, very hard. Okay. You lose that human element. Now, with building momentum in your local market, one thing, if there's anything that anybody can get off this call today, is that understanding that there are always deals in your local backyard. The reason being is that every seller in every local county, state, and town goes through life situations. whether
Mhm.
it's divorce, whether somebody unfortunately passes away, whether a job loss happens. This is why deals always exist. Okay. I am in the smallest state in the country, and I'm doing a lot of deals and building your team. And there's a lot of competition here, but building your team in locally, or at least within driving distance, makes you extremely efficient. Your painter, your electrician, your plumber, your roofer, your team as you're building it, it's easy to be able to get to a deal, look at it, and for them to get to it and execute the items you need to be done. As Brian was referring to earlier, we don't really like, I'm a lot more experienced, so doing a larger rehab is okay. But we look for cosmetic rehabs, painting the cabinets, painting the interior, vinyl plank flooring. We're looking for those. We don't really want the roof caving in and drawing, you're just not that experienced yet. As you gain experience, it's okay because you can afford to hold your money longer out there, but you want to get in and out as quick as you can. So building that local team is so important. And I'm in the smallest state in the country.
What a great point. And I think what's also so exciting for everybody here is the idea that there are deals literally in your backyard. Some of you try to get exercise by jogging or walking or riding your bike. If it's not an electric bike, right? You're actually getting some exercise. And I kid you not, my wife came back from her long morning walk today. She went on a different route, and she's like, "Here's a vacant house. There it is." Right. So I'm digging around. I mean, it's the opportunities are all around you. And I think that it's such a huge mistake to assume that the grass is greener somewhere else. Would you like to be coached by me and my team? Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Discover how you can be mentored by us through our apprentice program by clicking above